you very much, Commissioner. We have here one question from Anne.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, Anne de la
Je vais le poser en français.
Si vous voulez.
Est-ce que vous pouvez nous donner des éléments de calendrier plus précis sur le moment où vous plaiderez et présenterez votre projet de constellation de connectivité et la manière dont vous comptez mêler le public et le privé dans ce projet?
Alors d'abord, c'est important, et vous faites bien de le rappeler, c'est un projet effectivement public-privé. Il y a une dimension effectivement qui est une dimension commerciale, donc elle va accueillir, donc en gros, si vous voulez, pour un tiers du financement, donc elle va accueillir des investisseurs privés. On aura un tiers du financement qui sera réalisé par les États membres qui ont manifesté déjà beaucoup d'intérêt, et le dernier tiers par la Commission. Donc, et pourquoi cela? Parce qu'évidemment, il y a aussi une dimension, je l'ai dit, stratégique, voire aussi une dimension qui concerne la défense dans ce projet. Donc ça c'est pour l'aspect évidemment, je dirais, financement. Et sur le timing, eh bien, comme je l'ai dit tout à l'heure, je compte présenter donc la version définitive donc de cet acte dans les semaines qui viennent, et pas dans les mois qui viennent. Je dis bien les semaines. Merci.
Merci beaucoup. I'll take a question from the virtual space. Pascal, the floor is yours.
On vous entend, on vous voit. Enfin, on vous entend pas.
vous voulez?
Non, on vous voit, mais on vous entend pas.
Et vous m'entendez?
Oui.
Les deux en même temps, c'est magnifique.
Bonjour, monsieur le commissaire. Ma question, en fait, s'inscrit dans celle qui vient d'être posée sur la constellation de collectivité. Comment allez-vous financer du côté de la Commission européenne les 2 milliards qui sont actuellement en discussion? Enfin, certains mentionnent 2 milliards. Si j'ai bien compris, c'est le modèle 2 plus 2 plus 2, qui va être de 6 milliards en tout. Peut-être que vous pouvez confirmer ces chiffres. Et est-ce que vous pouvez nous dire aussi quels sont les États membres qui ont déjà clairement manifesté leur intérêt pour financer ce projet? Et peut-être nous dire un peu plus comment vous allez contrôler des acteurs privés non européens qui pourraient participer au projet.
Le financement, ça fait partie effectivement des discussions qui sont en cours. Donc on a effectivement identifié donc, les moyens au niveau de la Commission. On a des programmes qui vont être évidemment utilisés pour cela. Donc vous permettrez d'attendre la présentation. Mais je suis confiant sur le fait qu'on va effectivement finaliser effectivement le tiers de cette enveloppe. Vous avez fait une référence entre 5 et 6 milliards, je crois que vous êtes à peu près dans les purs avec ce que vous avez l'air d'avoir en tête. Bon, en ce qui concerne les États membres, il y a beaucoup d'États membres effectivement qui ont manifesté leurs intérêts. Certains l'ont rendu public, d'autres pas encore. Voilà, je ne veux pas aujourd'hui faire du prosélytisme à ce stade, donc je vous demande vraiment d'attendre, mais vous pourrez le voir dans les plans de relance, je vous invite de rester à le faire. Vous verrez que dans les plans de relance, il y a un nombre important d'États membres qui ont déjà, je dirais, réservé des montants significatifs pour ce projet. Mais je voudrais vraiment en profiter pour vous dire que ce projet est un projet qui concerne tous les États membres. C'est un projet vraiment d'intérêt général européen. Et donc, il accueillera évidemment tout le monde, puisque chacun y aura un intérêt. Merci.
Many thanks.
We have no interpretation into English, so it would be
Okay, so no.
summary.
Okay, I'm sorry. So no, I said that regarding Pascal's discussion, I think he mentioned more or less in his question the fact that it could be between 5 to 6 billion, and I think it was probably right in its own calculation. 1/3 coming from the Commission. We are finalizing this, and we are very confident. 1/3 coming from the Member States. We are also confident because in the Next Generation EU and Recovery Plan, there is a lot of Member States already which have flagged a specific amount for this purpose. And the last third will come from a private investor. And I mentioned that it will be, of course, a project which is a general interest for Europe. So everyone will have interest. So I'm confident that we'll be able to bring every single member states together in this setup. That's basically what I said in French.
Many thanks for your clarifications, Commissioner. Do we have further questions in the room?
I saw in the chat.
In the room
Peter
first.
Deseldi and Peter inside GNS.
Peter?
I don't see them in the comment chat.
I see Peter Deseldi would like to ask a question, and please, Peter, unmute your microphone so that anybody can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. I'll start with Dave over here. If you have a mic, because the issue on my is not at school, so the video might be have to go for another day. Anyway, my question has to do with what you said in the speech before about Copernicus. And the defense applications of Copernicus, which must be more taken into account in this Copernicus evolution. Could you say something more about what you think Copernicus means in the future to be more attractive to European defense forces that doesn't have today? Thanks.
Well, I hope it was clear for everyone because the sound was not too good. So if I understand well, your question was on the new features that we are expecting to be carried out by Copernicus. That's what I think I understand, including, by the way, some more, let's say, a strategic initiative. Copernicus has definitely a real potential to increase its services in security and defense. And this is really in this area that we want to dig in and to offer new capacities and new technologies. We are discussing now in discussions with member states here to define exactly what we will propose. And for this, of course, we need definitely, let's say, especially if we are now offering some services in this area, more reactivity, and we understand that well. So it will be one of the key words I think that you need to have in mind. More revisit time, of course. By the way, LEO payload can be also of interest. Of course, we have many member state assets already that we could also, let's say, coordinate. But we want to see if there are some complementary services for armed forces, also in the CSDP context. So the logic is like for Galileo and like for the governance we have put in place with Galileo, which has also a PRS service.
Many thanks, Commissioner. Do we have further questions in the room? Please, Stefan.
Hi, Stefan Walensky from Aerospatial Magazine. I had a question about the Space Ticket Initiative. Could you explain us the mechanism and the timetable, please?
So I think what is important is to let's put it the other way. My objective is definitely to enhance the creativity of startups and all the new space ecosystems. And we know that there is because I have been in discussion with many of these new companies in Europe. It's extremely vibrant, by the way. So and I understand that they're lacking the ability to test their own services in space. So the idea is that we will support small launchers to bid for institutional launches, because of course it is definitely important to give them also this visibility, this perspective, and that's of course a new segment. So we will start with in-orbit validation satellite, where there is definitely here not only need but also proposals. And then, of course, our goal is to create a path for, let's say, other institutional launches.
Many thanks.
So we are doing this. This is a program for 2022 that we want to initiate.
Many
And
thanks.
starting in 2023.
Many thanks. Do we have additional questions here from the room? Not for the time being. I see that the hand of Pascal is still raised. Pascal, do you have a follow-up question, or you have just unraised the hand? I think
I
we
have
can.
a follow-up question.
Please.
Do you hear me?
Yes. We hear you. But I will answer in English. I will answer in English, Pascal, then if that's fine with you.
Yeah, no problem. Just two questions. Why don't we have, does the European Commission have any plans in order to prepare IPCIs on space launches? Because we do speak about alliance, but we do speak on a regular basis about IPCIs, but you never mentioned that an IPCI could be also launched for space launches. And my second question is related to Space Summit. What do you expect from the mid-February Space Summit on the EU side? Thank you.
No, I think that's a good question for IPCI, but before IPCI, look, and especially in these key technologies that we need to enhance, we definitely want first to establish the alliance. And this is why, I have been pushing hard to put in place this alliance. So on the alliance, we will work on a technological roadmap, and then, of course, we will support with a research partnership, and we'll see. But I think this is really a step-by-step approach. So really, for me, what is more important is to establish the right vision together through the alliance. And if then we decide together that an IPCI makes sense, then of course member states will be free to start building an IPCI within, again, our common strategy that we will have put in place with within this alliance. So regarding the space conference, which is coming soon in Toulouse, I think, it is very important to project a common vision on space for Europe. I expect discussion, of course, on the future of Copernicus that we mentioned today, on connectivity, of course, that's a big topic, and also on space and defense. And that's I know that's a very important subject that the French presidency is willing to put on the table, and of course this will be a big part of it. But of course also we will discuss through this space conference on our way of working together. In other words, the governance, which is extremely important as we know. So we'll have a lot of things on the agenda. And we need this kind of conference because more and more, and I said this morning in my opening remarks, we need to come together to maintain our position in Europe. And I know that it is an extremely strong impetus and willingness of President Macron to do this. So this will be basically about this important meeting that we will have.
Many thanks. We have a follow-up question from Anne, please, in English.
There's a question in the chat.
Okay. You said that you have to propose something on space traffic management.
Yes.
I'm sorry. You said you have to propose something about space traffic management. It's an important issue which is in the air worldwide, and nobody knows exactly who is going to start to do something about it. What your proposition is in the form of a kind of directive just for European countries, or it's more ambitious and it's something that could be discussed at the UN or something like that?
No, thank you for this question, because space traffic management is, of course, something which is important, of course, on the global level. But it's true also that we need also to have a strong European pillar. And this is why on specific space traffic management, I will present a specific European strategy with a specific plan. But it's true also, and I started, by the way, to discuss this. It concerns capacity, it concerns standards, it concerns regulation, and of course it concerns, that's your last question, international cooperation. And when we said international cooperation, of course we can, I already started to speak with my counterpart in the US, so that's important. But we have, of course, other players that we definitely need to discuss with, including, of course, Russia and China. And that's something that we need, of course, to engage and to continue to engage. But, of course, for us, what is extremely important is to finalize our own European plan in order to be also an important partner in this discussion. So, in a nutshell, we will also, as you mentioned, but we will also include new technologies development, of course, in this discussion. So, in a nutshell, we need to aim for global rules on STM. And then, as I said, we just need to finalize our own position as Europe to wait on a global discussion. This is exactly what we will do, and timing is important here also. But again, I already started bilateral discussions, but of course with our US partners. But to tell you also, when we had this issue with Russia, I also engaged with Russia to discuss about the situation, which was, of course, something that we reacted very strongly against what happened, and to say the necessity to discuss also with them.
Many thanks. We have one question. Last question.
Peter.
We have one question from Peter. Please take the floor.
Peter, inside here.
We can hear the sound very bad.
You have to speak very slowly. We hear you very badly, Peter. Very badly. Yes. Increase the volume and reduce the speed. So you will optimize your bandwidth.
The figure we've been hearing for the last couple of months, 232, 6 billion. Sounds very much like it was proposed about a year ago by established space players when the consortium made a proposal to you. After that, we asked two separate consortia of non-space companies to come up with their own proposals. The idea was you want more innovation, more disruption, and for villagers, less cost. That didn't come to justify the 6 billion figure that you used today. Thanks.
If you haven't understood the question, we can come back in written.
No, but I think again the envelope is not yet fully finalized. But I think you have the scope in mind. But it's true, and I confirm that in this we have a lot to propose to the ecosystem, and we want innovation. We want also to use this project to foster disruption. Maybe I could suggest to wait for the proposal before judging the innovation potential. That's just, and you will see that we will have clear impetus for startups. But maybe I didn't understood well what you said, so maybe I made a bad judgment. So if it is the case, please apologize. Okay, thank you very much.
Many thanks, Commissioner. We exhausted the available time. Please stay tuned as we continue in a couple of minutes with a very important statement related to the EU fund, Space Fund Cassini.
Thank you. Thank you all. Merci beaucoup.
Du Canada, il est ici en principe.
Attendez, je sais pas comment on va faire ça. Oui, mais on fait ça où
Parlez français.
Oui, oui, tout à fait.
Je voulais savoir si après Eric Castel, une grave interview, je suis le représentant d'Eric Cosmos. Effectivement, spécialisé dans l'exploitation.
Très bien. Je vais en fait vous passer le contact par ce commissaire il y a un conseil de presse en fait, qui gère son agenda.
I would like to welcome very warmly Mr. Chris Peters, the Vice President of the European Investment Bank, and also Mr. Alain Godard, the Chief Executive of the European Investment Fund.
With the Chief Executive of the European Investment Fund, Monsieur Alain Godard. Bonjour et merci et bienvenue. So we know that space is going through definitely massive transformation. We have new commercial players which are disrupting the traditional business in any aspect, and also the role of the big bodies. They are emerging fast from what we call the new space ecosystem. And this is happening, of course, in the US, but also in Europe. And that's, of course, the good news, where we now have a great number of and vibrant of new entrants. And this is, of course, a major opportunity for us. Those companies bring innovation and new industrial processes, cross-fertilization, of course, with the non-space industry, such as digital companies, and also the development of a new market. But still, Europe is short of private investment, and this is why we are here today together. Many of our startups cannot get the equity investments they need in Europe. They have no choice but to turn to non-EU investors, and of course this is a loss of opportunity and I should say also a major risk for Europe. So to stop this trend, we are today combining our forces with EIB and EIF, and we want to give a very strong push to the European new space actors. With the EIF, we are announcing today the launch of the Cassini Space Investment Fund. It will first unlock more than 1 billion euros of investment capacity over the next 5 years. It will, of course, help us to attract more private venture capital funds to become active investors in space companies. And it will help, of course, to make startups and growth stage companies investment ready. So new space companies will now have the possibility to scale up and to grow in Europe, which is again our willingness. The EIF will be implementing the implementing partner of Cassini, and thank you very much, Space Investment Fund. But of course, time is of essence, and we will cooperate definitely closely to deploy this fund very quickly. It's ready to go now. So I will sign a joint statement with Alain Godard to that effect this morning. We will also deploy capacity building and advisory services in close cooperation with USPA and ESA. And of course, I remind that this is in direct implementation of the new paradigm shift initiated by the EU Space Programme. So in parallel, we are also working closely with the European Investment Bank. So EIB will go where debt is simply not accessible for new space companies from traditional sources, let's say bank or bond emission. In a few years, many new entrants will need access to loans for the scaling of their commercial activities and operations, and of course, we need to prepare this. So, ladies and gentlemen, 2022 will be definitely a turning point for new space entrepreneurship in Europe. We are mobilizing all our assets, the European Investment Fund, the European Investment Bank, and I should also mention the European Innovation Council, with whom we will deepen, of course, our cooperation for high-risk investment in space. And let me conclude by saying that in doing so, we are definitely willing to create the condition to attract more private investment to build unicorns, and of course to conquer export markets, with a clear ambition, turn Europe as the hub for space entrepreneurship. So my message to all the space entrepreneurs in Europe and beyond is, come, stay and grow in Europe. Here we are to support you. Thank you.
Many thanks, Vice President.
Thank you, dear Commissioner, dear Mr. Godard, dear Alain. For me, it's a great pleasure as Vice President of the European Investment Bank and responsible in the Bank for Security and Defense to be here and to sign with Alain and the Commissioner this very important new step. Because, like the Commissioner said this morning, Europe has big ambitions. Europe has a very clear strategy for the space. But you must also put the money where your mouth is, and that is where we can do something very important. Because in the past it were governments, it was public money that was invested in space. Now we have now a new period, a new element that is the private sector. The private sector is so important to make the ambitions, to make these strategic goals a reality. And that means that we must have the instruments, the financial instruments to support the private sector. And it's not only the big companies, of course, very important, but also small and medium-sized companies. They, ladies and gentlemen, are so important when you look to innovation, when you look to the dynamic approach of space. We need this kind of companies. And there are a lot of initiatives, a lot of entrepreneurs that already are very involved in that kind of endeavor. And that is the reason why I'm so happy that we can make some things concrete and to understand and to support what the Commissioner has said and to be very realistic. The money must come on the table to support private companies, and that's the reason why we, as European Investment Bank and European Investment Fund, are so delighted to make this possible and signing today a very important step in this endeavor. But of course it is Alain who will give more details about this initiative. Please.
Thank you very much. Chief Executive, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Dear Commissioner Thierry, dear Vice President Chris, thank you for being there today. It's an honor and also a pleasure to be there after 2 years of COVID. What is at stake today, this has been said many times already this morning, is our leadership in Europe of the new space. And that was your vision, Commissioner, that you developed last year in the context of the so-called Cassini program. And today we are indeed launching this program very efficiently and concretely by investing into startups, which makes, clearly, the innovation nowadays. And therefore we will be leveraging on an important steps that we have achieved last year, in a year, Commissioner, with the pilot project on equity space developed already by the European Commission, which has been delivered in less than 12 months. So the demand is there, for sure, and there's a huge opportunity for Europe to develop in this market. What can the EIF bring into this initiative? I would say two important things. The first one is, you said it, the private sector mobilization. This is our business model at EIF. When we invest particularly into equity, we bring up to 3 to 4 additional euros into and from the private sector into the investment. So this is an important consideration to take, because when it comes to mobilizing private sector, this is a key instrument to use. The second, and that makes this initiative quite unique, is the additionality or complementarity that we can see between EU space agencies, being EU SPA or ESA, and a specialized institution into finance, so EF, specialized into promoting innovation nowadays through startups. So I see this as, again, another added value of this specific program. We will finance what we call the early stage companies. But not only, you said it, the Commissioner, we will also accompany with this program the growing startups. The one that at 80% are financed at a later stage by US or Asian funds nowadays. So we need to address this market segment as well, which we call Scale Up Europe, which is also promoted by the French presidency at the moment. And I think this is a nice bridge between these two initiatives. And in view of the pipeline that we will have, I mean, you were mentioning, Commissioner, the importance of being fast and bold. I can assure you that there's a lot of demand at the moment on the market, and I'm extremely positive that this will be developed and deployed very, very fast. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I would like now to kindly invite the Commissioner and also the Chief Executive to proceed to the signature of the joint statement.
Merci. Voilà.
Many thanks. Could you please come forward for a family picture?
Signer les châteaux d'art. Voilà. Très bien. Bravo et merci.
Merci, félicitations.
C'est un bon lancement.
C'est un bon lancement. Merci beaucoup.
Très bien. Merci.
Many thanks. This concludes our second press event, but please stay tuned because we continue with another surprise for you just in a couple of minutes.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Bravo. Merci.
Tout de même, c'est super. Merci. Se voir aussi en direct.
I give
Welcome to our third press session with Commissioner Breton. After this spectacular introduction, I would like immediately to pass the floor to the Commissioner.
Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Again, very happy to be here for a very specific moment of our very special day today. I would like to start by saying something that I said already this morning. Europe is a space power. But like any space power, it needs to ensure its autonomous access to space. And we know that micro-launchers solutions are booming in Europe, which is a very good news. Of course, Europe needs and will continue to need strategic launchers like Ariane and Vega for all its institutional requirements. But we also need new and complementary solutions. Small launcher solutions can provide, we know, flexibility and also responsiveness and, let's say, affordability. They can, and we know that, foster innovation and in that perspective contribute to change the business model of space launch services in the long term. As we are about to embark in a new project to change the business model of space launch services in the long term, we all believe that with all the proposals that we have on the table, let's say, for example, with the Space Connectivity Program, with its LEO satellites, as well as also new generation satellites, the institutional demand for small or smaller launchers, let's say, will also increase. So from the three presentations that we have just seen, we can see that the EU industry of launchers, in particular for micro and mini launchers, is very promising. I will say that without any more time, we must ensure that we have indeed micro-launcher solutions in the EU. Under the pilot phase of European Innovation Council, we launched a contest to reward the most innovative, cost-effective and commercially viable solution. This solution should offer dedicated low-cost launch services for light satellite into low Earth orbit and optimize European technological non-dependence, which is very important for us. In total, we received more than 15 applications. They were all evaluated and ranked by an independent jury on the basis of three criteria: excellence, technical implementation, and service sustainability. The three highest scoring applications were selected as finalists and invited to demonstrate their solution through a virtual on-site visit and hearing meeting with all the members of the jury. we had at least, let's say, 3 excellent and very promising EU solutions that will definitely support our ambition in space. The first solution proposed by ISAR Aerospace, which is developing Spectrum, a high-performance two-stage launch vehicle based on clean propulsion designed for light satellites. The second solution proposed by PLD Spaces, which is developing MUA-5, a reusable orbital micro-launcher dedicated to small satellites launched from a European spaceport in Kourou. And the third solution proposed by Rocket Factory, which is developing RFA-1, a very cost-effective launch vehicle for precise in-orbit delivery and stage combustion propulsion systems. So first, I would like, of course, to congratulate the 3 finalists. They did a fantastic job. They do a fantastic job. And I would like to tell them that they have an amazing entrepreneurship spirit and mindset, which makes me extremely not only proud but confident for the future. And all your 3 solutions are definitely extremely promising, and this is the sort of spirit, let's say, that I would like to see and that we will see, hopefully more in Europe. But let me now turn to the winner of the EIC prize on a low-cost space launch. So the winner is here. I see him. He's waiting maybe for a big check. The winner is Daniel Metzner from ISAR Aerospace. Very well done, Daniel. Very proud of you. So you can come on stage. Congratulations. We will do it this way. Bravo. He's a fantastic entrepreneur. I know almost, not all the entrepreneurs, but a bunch of them. But Daniel is really a fantastic entrepreneur. So congratulations, Daniel. I'm very proud of what you did.
Yes.
You proposed solutions which was, I believe, the most innovative today. At least the jury. We decided that, and I think the jury was right. With a solid technical maturity, and we will be impressed with his personal technical maturity. He looks young, but he's very, I know that, extremely competent in all technical aspects. You could spend hours with him, he will explain all details. And I'm sure that your solution will greatly contribute, Daniel, to supporting our European ambition in space by contributing to an autonomous, reliable, and cost-effective access to space. So, Daniel, I have a small check for you, but a big figure. Very good. So that's 10 million euros, signed by, of course, my colleague and friend Maria Gabriel. She was not able to be here, but of course she was extremely involved, and she is a fantastic commissioner for research, and by myself. And this money for you, Daniel. Thank you very much. That's a lot of money. So I know that you will make good use of it. We will definitely. Thank you very much.
Maybe if you want to
Daniel. Voilà. I think, Daniel, you will be able to put this in your office, huh? And in the bank too. Voilà. Congratulations. Thank you very much, Commissioner. And you can take it for you. Thank you. Voilà. Bravo. Daniel, you want to say a few words?
Yeah, thank you very much to you, Commissioner Breton, also to the European Commission and all the experts for hosting such a prize money. I think it's also a new approach on how we award technical maturity, entrepreneurship out of Europe. I think, as we heard already before, we have great talent, we have great companies and startups in Europe. I think also the challenge we face is actually bringing them from a research and university center to the actual commercial markets, which the EIC prize, I think, is actually a very, very great way to foster that competition and to foster that technical entrepreneurship. And obviously for us it's a great honor to receive the prize and the award and the recognition of the technical solution and commercially viable low-cost solution that we have put in place over the course of the last 3 years. And then just looking back, 3.5 years ago, we were basically a team of, I would almost call 3 students.
Almost in a garage.
Actually in a garage, yeah. And we basically learned to set up a company, set up a team. As of today, we're more than 230 employees, with all being located within the European Union to develop all those technologies. And we really wanted to have a strong technical maturity and the know-how for everything out of Europe, and this is also why we set out to do everything internally, from our entire rocket engine development, the software with which we develop our rocket engines, the entire structures development, the electronics and software development. And so it's a great honor to receive the prize and the recognition of the European Commission. Thank you very much.
Bravo Daniel, congratulations to your team.
Thank you very much.
Bravo.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Thank you very much, Mr. Metzler. For your information, Mr. Metzler will be available to grant interviews in case you're interested. This concludes our last session with the Commissioner. We'll continue with further press events at 12 o'clock, and the first session will be on boosting space investments. Many thanks and have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We leave the Zoom channel open and you stay there if you want to stay.
Commissioner, a final picture with the 2 finalists.
For 1 minute break, s'il vous plaît.
Now it's... oui, tout à fait, avec with you as well. And the others, yes.
Which also needs to be person.
Picture.
Thank you very much. Good to meet you in person.
Yes, maybe you can join as well.
Yes, in any case.
Here.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So I'll stay here, I guess.
We start with the briefing.
From your name. My badge? Oh yeah, it's over there. It's the one next to the computer. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Sehr gut. Genau. Wir haben jetzt hier noch E-Mail. Also ich glaube, zumindest wurde mir gesagt. Sebastian ist nicht hier. Aber lass uns am besten nachher dann. Was wir machen, dann schauen wir das mal zu Gesicht. Sehr gut.
C'est bien fait, voilà.
Ja, wir haben eine. Es funktioniert nicht. Wir haben ja jetzt da das Interview laufen. Es gibt Peter Desselding, der möchte Ihnen gerne eine Frage stellen. Ja? Soll ich dem schreiben, der kann Sie kontaktieren?
Er hat auch meine Kontaktdaten, also er kann sich gerne bei mir melden.
Ja. Und hier die Journalisten sind offenbar.
Ja, alles gut. Gut. Dankeschön. Genau.
Ja, genau. Danke sehr.
Dankeschön.
Genau.
Hey, buddy. Hey, good to see you. Likewise. How are you? I didn't realize you were going to be there. Did you just win that thing? We did. Nice work. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't even realize the competition was going on. So you guys got that money?
Oui, bien sûr, vas-y. Sorry, il y a eu un petit grésillement dans le bœuf, là, je sais pas pourquoi il
ton était tout le temps saturé, c'est pour ça que je l'ai grossi. Pas les autres, c'est ça qui est juste le comité tout le temps, mais
Parce que moi ici je vérifiais que je ne tapais pas dans le rouge.
les filles,
C'est chelou hein, parce que
il y a le vent à les mettre, c'est une bonne bien. Parce que sinon, il y aurait vu la route, parce que
ouais, c'est ça.
on enlève ça. Ouais, mais c'est pour les.
On donne quoi pour le dimanche, tu sais?
Pas bien ici. Ça c'est quel? C'est celui que lui avait là? Ça c'est Olivier.
Merci madame.
Ah ouais, madame, c'est bien, hein. C'est bien, hein. C'est à moi 10, hein. C'est pas la ligne. 0 aussi.
Il n'a pas mis de caisse pour avoir un retour sur... Ouais mais ça va, mais je vais lui dire comme ça. Ok, bon.